Thank you so much. Thank you so
No, that's
much.
okay.
This is what, when they say women supporting women, it's not just a cliche
Absolutely.
for some people. So I'm really, really honored, and I'm sure the rest of the community are also very honored to have you here for the next 40 minutes. We are going to drill you, we're going to get everything from you.
Well, that's okay. I'm ready to answer all of your questions to like help anyone out who, is ready to listen and is ready to put in the work, because one of my biggest corporate social responsibility, is to impact as much people as I can positively. So anything that I you want to ask me that can be of help to like a lot of people, not only women and men also.
The men that support the women and the men that love women.
They are on the top of my list.
I was in a meeting, I think it was last week, and then we're planning some IWD events, and then there was a man there who was like, so is this event for just women? I'm like, no, it's for women, and the men will love them. So he said, oh wow, so that means it's everyone. I said, yes,
it's everyone.
It's everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I believe there are no women without men. I think the entire statement has men in it, and there's no men without women as well. So we all coexist in this world to help each other.
My name is Choma, and I run the Boss Babes NG community where women support women, and we do sessions like this to encourage women. So today we have in our midst for the second time. She's come, I think it was 2020, just at the peak of COVID. So she's come here before, but today we have her back, Ola Folami. Then she was not Folami, so woo-hoo.
Yeah, I had my maiden name then, still my father's surname, which he is very angry about that I changed, but I love my husband more now. So.
Okay, so can you tell us about yourself, your journey into the world of fashion, into the world of business, and saying that you've been able to grow your brand? I'm a stern follower of your work, and I, from a distance, I see how you've been able to grow your brand internationally, through across different borders. Can you just walk us through that journey, just to inspire someone listening on this call?
Okay, first I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Ola Folami, and I'm the creator and founder and creative director of the brand Olars Grace. It is a contemporary women's wear label which has now gone global, delivering to 192 countries worldwide. And when I say delivering to 192 countries worldwide, I don't mean shipping worldwide, which, a lot of brands have on their profile, worldwide shipping.
Right.
When you get to like the international level, you understand that when you ship worldwide, it's very different from, the processes that you have to follow.
Right.
The registrations to be a legitimate business. For example, in South Korea, you cannot ship an item to someone who lives in South Korea by just shipping an item via DHL. There are processes that you have to follow.
Yeah.
There's a custom number the person has to have, and your business has to have as well, to be able to ship that item to them. In Singapore as well. So all of those processes are like really, really important. So when I say that we do worldwide shipping, I mean on that level,
right,
to 192 countries. And
oh my God,
the journey so far in business has been a very exciting one.
Yeah,
an absolutely challenging one. But I do believe that when you try your best to just show up, things are generally going to work out for you at the end of the day. It's not very easy. You just have to keep showing up. You just have to keep showing up, and things are going to work out for you at the end of the day. So it's been a challenging one, but it's been very fruitful. It's been very rewarding, and we've been on some of the biggest publications in the world, like Vogue, Vanity Fair, New York Times Square, Billboard there. And I do believe that if I wasn't showing up, or my team wasn't showing up, we will not have achieved all of that. So all the times that it's been challenging,
right,
I remember that if I wasn't showing up, I wouldn't get there.
Right.
So it's been a challenging but a very rewarding one.
Thanks for that. I mean, you've said words that, like showing up, and you're shipping 292 countries in the world. And I'm like, oh my God, that's insane. So I just imagining the back end, the supply chain that's happening, I just imagine all of that. And
like when people see like fashion businesses, they think it's just about the beautiful clothes. The back end is a freaking chaos. I once looked into like Amazon back end and I'm like, ooh, boy, the back end is chaotic. Honestly, like I feel like one of the things that I work very hard towards, I feel like like I said, always show up. And I feel like that's one of like my biggest strengths. I show up, especially like on the front end, but you need to see me on the back end. I'm a whole different person.
No,
because
I can't believe that you look all sophisticated and
listen, like I said, it's also part of showing up, because it took me to sprint amongst different things to be able to be here, and it took me organizing the back end already this morning, despite the fact that I had to be here, I had to do these things I have to do. So I think that it is, some people are graced for it. It's a supernatural strength to be able to handle pressure on that type of level, because your back end is what reflects on your front end. You know what I mean? It reflects on your reviews. And internationally, people take Google reviews very seriously when they Google your brand. And first things first, there's an amount of reviews that your website has to have collated for you to then automatically start to show up on Google, right? So in this part of the world, the Western world, the UK, Dubai, and the rest of that, people Google your business. They don't care if Chama knows you. They Google your business. And what that does essentially is it brings up everything that has been said about Olars Grace. And listen, there will always be the cons, but the pros has to always top it. So that is why your back end has to be very, very important. Because if a customer receives something that they are not supposed to receive, you have to be on top of it. Because every review actually matters. And really, the good ones help. The good ones are amazing. But you see those bad ones, you don't want them, because essentially they have the power to like tarnish the hard work that you have done. I remember I started mostly because I didn't have anything in my community that was giving people value for money. Let me put it that way. We always had to look at like the designer outfits, the abroad and stuff. And I remember like I would go to Zara then and I'll pick up a jacket and I'll be like, this is amazing. Which fabric is this? Like, and I'm probably paying only $120 for it, but I'm very happy. And there wasn't anybody doing that. Like we would buy stuff at that time. I mean, people's businesses have evolved right now, but we would buy stuff at that time and it's like, okay, 35K, then dollar was due. Dollar is no longer 35K. $100 is not 35K. So it's like, okay, you know what, 35,000 naira, it's okay. But I looked at it like, if I can have a Zara jacket in my closet for 4 years and actually still give it out, and I bought it at $100, I want to replicate a business or create a business that solves that problem in my immediate community as well. Creating things that have excellent quality that you use for years until you're tired and you give it out, and the other person you're giving it to is very appreciative of it. So that's one of my whys, and it's very important for me. So that's also one of the reasons that my back end works absolutely fantastic, because people on my team also understand that that's my why. For me, like, it might be $100 to you, but I need that $100 to be value for money for whoever is buying that product. You understand what I mean? So that's like the ethos of the brand. One of the ethos of the brand. That's something that we really push for, that from production to quality control to packaging to
Right.
shipping to the customer opening that package and trying it on. We need the
Yeah.
process to be seamless and
Yeah.
be the very best.
Yeah.
So that people come back when they give a review and they're like, why is this thing $100? Why is it not 500?
Yeah.
You
Right.
know what I mean?
You started from Lagos, and I've watched you, launch your brand in Dubai, and not launch your brand in the UK. So I'm just wondering, what is the strategy? How did you put together the strategy? And what is it? What are we looking forward to in terms of the brand? So, like, short term, where are we going to see Olars launch in the near future?
Okay, I'm sorry. I have one of my schoolmates just commented now and said she started from Fatima. It's always been in her. So Fatima is my secondary school, and I cannot actually believe that she said that. Listen, I have always sold things.
Oh my gosh!
Always it's always been a trade by barter thing. It's like, what can if I give you this, what can you give me in return?
Right.
So even before Allah's Grace, I've sold during COVID. I sold rice. I used to cook jollof rice for people to buy.
No, which COVID?
This COVID, this 2020 COVID. Yes. How many COVID did you have? You know what? Another one. So I've always looked at the opportunities around me, and thank you, Elfrida, for reminding me about that. That's actually really lovely to see that people randomly just remember that, it's been a long time coming. So in terms of strategy, first things first, I want to correct that we haven't launched in the UK yet.
Okay.
It's in the works.
Okay.
We don't know when that's gonna happen, but it is gonna happen. If there's anything that I've known about my life is whatever I want and whatever I take to God, in His own time, it's gonna happen. So it's definitely in the works, and that's why we are here in the UK. That's the number one reason that we're here in the UK, because we have a lot of people from the diverse community here in the UK, and one of the strategies is that a lot of them are 9-to-5 workers, and what we do is mostly contemporary corporate wears that people can wear to work. So it fits our market very well because it allows the reduction of taxes if we're shipping from within the UK. So that's one reason why we're here. So we'll get there. I don't know when. God have mercy upon us.
But it's in the works.
It's in the works. We are actively working on it. We're bouncing off ideas of people. We're inviting a business analyst, financial analysts, people that actually study the research of fashion, and they're like, you will be surprised how much research is in the UK. That actually study these things in schools, like tell us, what's going on, because I admire ASOS. So another thing is, I have known ASOS for like the longest time, so I want to know what you're doing that you don't have one store, strictly online, but you have been able to purchase Topshop, which was one of also like the biggest urban fashion when we were growing up. Like, everybody would have thought the Topshop was bigger than ASOS. They're able to purchase it and turn it strictly online. So we're here because we want to know these things before like we fully go in. Say, okay, you know what we're coming into. There's a lot of pros and cons. With Dubai, we also were there, and then we understood the market before we opened the store, because we understood that that's what that market needed. So when you want to expand into a region, you have to understand what that region needs. You need an online store. Do you need physical store? Do you need for people? What are the written policies here? You have to understand that the UK is not like Nigeria, or America, whereby people can literally say, I give you a 7 days return. No, they have 30 days return policies. So as a business owner, how do you make your money with all of those returns coming back to you? That's why, again, your back end is very important. You need to understand that. You need to know what you're putting out so that your returns are very low. Because for a country which that encourages 30 days return, for a business owner, that's nightmare. Meaning, I've spent your money since, and then you can come back and take that money back. You know what I mean? So the UK is a very, very different market, very different laws, very different taxes for business owners. So it's going to take so much more work in understanding the grassroots of launching a business here than how we operated in Nigeria or we did in Dubai.
Even with the introduction of fast fashion in the UK here, so you also have that to contend with.
No, I don't. One thing is, I don't contend with fast fashion. I do not.
All right.
You're not on the same level. We will never be, because again, right? People who buy and wear fast fashion understand that if they buy Olars Grace, there is a freaking difference. You cannot compare the quality. You cannot compare the durability. You cannot compare you cannot compare it on any level. The only difference that fast fashion has, and it's growing more, and where we have not gotten to that big level of market yet, is because we don't have the investors that they have. And I don't see Olars Grace ever becoming that cheap, and that's just the honest truth.
So is that something you're looking? Okay, let's just leave that. I wanted to ask about investors and all of that, but maybe
no, you can ask me. Well, for every business that actually wants to go like as big as Zara and the rest of them, you have to look at investors. You cannot do it on your own. You can do it on your own, but it will probably cost you a lot of time. You'll probably get there in 20 years for something that you would have done in 3 years.
Absolutely.
Excuse me. However, we'll get there.
So bringing all of these interesting discussions, back to the theme for IWD, we're speaking about to inspire inclusion. So I just want to know what your experiences, if you could share with us, your experiences, being doing business in other environments where you may have been a minority within those regions. How have you managed to feel included within those localities?
Again, like I said in the beginning, showing up is very important. And you don't show up because you need something from that region which you have just moved to. You show up because it's necessary for your business for you to show up. Listen, in the midst of showing up, in the midst of having God as your backing, people will look for you. Like I need people to understand that. There's absolutely nothing about running a business when it comes to favor that is in your control or in your power. You know what I mean? Just show up, and show up the best possible way that you can. Right? Don't show up in your back end, show up in your day-to-day life, show up in the front end. It's not easy, but just show up. There is someone looking at you for just showing up. You cannot, now this is especially, like, for example, in Nigeria, you probably don't have to show up because you probably don't have to show up as much because you have Iaruka behind you that is your neighbor that already knows you from birth. You have Chioma that went to school with you that can tell people about your business. You have Adeferami, who I just see that's joining this life now. I don't know who that is, but Adeferami can tell people in her church about you and say, oh, that girl, she goes to my church. The word of mouth is like, it's simply spread. But when you come to a country where you don't know nobody, the cultures are different. The UK is even better, trust me. In Dubai, hey, you're only Dubai. Dubai is very glamorous for tourists. I love Dubai. Dubai will always be home to me because I have managed to build a presence there. But it took work and it took a lot of showing up, especially in the first year. Especially especially in the first year. It takes 10 times the amount that you have to show up in your local country for you to show up in a place where you're a minority, especially you being a minority in a very rich, closed country. You know what I mean? Again, a minority in a very wealthy, closed country. It means you don't have their style. It means you don't have their culture. It means you don't speak their language.
Right.
The only thing you can do is get on your knees, pray. And tell God that, see, I'm doing my best to. You promised me, and you said that I should come here. And another thing that people always forget is, and I've made this mistake a lot in my life. For example, I moved to Dubai 3 times. I tried to move there 3 times before I finally walked. You don't ask God. You just do because you see another person doing. You know what I mean? So you always have to go back to God to say, this time I asked you and you told me that it's Dubai that we are going to. You know what I mean? So that way God helps you, you know, show up and puts you in places that the people who are the majority in that country tend to notice you as the minority, and favor and grace something that people who shouldn't play with. So in terms of inclusivity, that's just what happens. You just have to show up. This event is happening. You know you can promote your business. Show up.
Oh my God.
This is, and then you have to target like the smaller markets. There are Nigerians everywhere. There are Black people everywhere. So in terms of you showing up, the word is spreading. Oh, there's this new Black girl who is in town. You should check her out. That Black girl who's talking about you probably has an Arab friend. You know what I mean? In my case, I simply showed up and I kept showing up. It was over a year already. And I'm like, listen, we go run now. Let me use like anyhow, we go run now. You understand what I mean? And lucky for me, I was invited to an event called Emirati Women's Day. Now I needed to understand that. Again, the Dubai you people see on the outside is very different from us who live there.
Wow.
So for you to be invited to an event that is Emirati's Women's Day, they're not playing with you. It means everybody there is covering their head. Everybody like, and these are like high achieving women. I'm talking like. So
did you go covered or you just went normal?
Oh, that's another thing. Like you have to dress appropriately.
Wow.
You have to understand people's culture and you have to respect it. You know what I mean? So, like, let's not even go there. So we're talking about very high achieving women in that community. I'm talking about one of the people who attended the event and spoke there was the first person to go to space in the UAE. So she's an astronaut, and we had like top achieving engineers who were building this, and were women actually. And it was such a closed event that it was just only about 18 people.
Is that 80? 18.
18.
What?
It is that much of a closed country, and I was invited.
Oh my God, this is stable.
I literally just got the email. I didn't know till dates. I didn't know who until at that time. I didn't know who recommended me. It was when I got there that I'm like, who is Sapna? And she's like, hi, me. And I'm like, oh my God, how do you know me? She's like, I just went on Instagram and I kept watching. By the way, she works for IMA, which is one of the biggest real estate companies. Everybody who's been to Dubai has seen IMA. So IMA is like the people who built Dubai Mall.
All right.
Yeah, so that's like the popular one. There's IMA and there's Damak. So anybody who's been to Dubai knows IMA, basically. And she's like, I found you from Instagram and I really love your content. And I'm like, okay.
Oh my God. we need to take Instagram more seriously.
No, you need to take showing up more seriously. Yeah. So if you go on Instagram that I need to take Instagram seriously, you won't get anything from it. You need to be yourself and show up in the process knowing fully well that you're working towards something, and one day somebody's going to find you from there. So that's the difference. Content creators have to take Instagram seriously
because that's their job.
Business owners have to show up. That's the difference. Business owners show up. I'm showing up for my business, for this outfit that I'm wearing, to create publicity for this. And I have to take it seriously, even probably more than a content creator, because even from the stitch, from me sitting down, from whatever, I have to take it more seriously. I'm not just promoting like a beautiful outfit. Do you understand what I mean? I'm promoting a brand. So even from the places that I visit, from the places that I go to eat, from the places that I,
Sorry, somebody saying, please show us your outfit.
My outfit is from my new collection. It's called the Shemilary collection on my website, olarsgrace.com. So you can see it. You can see the entire outfit there. Like I said, I sprinted to this life. So if I'm not showing you like my full outfit, just know that I'm probably wearing like flip-flops on that. So don't judge me.
I'm wearing flip-flops.
I showed up. That's the most important thing.
Yes.
So yeah, that's the story. And she's like, I just found you from Instagram and I think your content is very interesting and And I'm
my
like,
God.
Thank you. And I sat in that meeting, and this is the very interesting part. And they made all of us tell our stories one after the other.
Yeah.
And with Olars Grace, I have a very interesting story, especially when it comes to what my husband has contributed into helping us build the brand to the level that we currently are.
Yeah.
And the fact that I looked at this man and I'm like, listen, we're going to Dubai. And he literally had to believe in the brand to the extent said, okay, you know what? Let's go to Dubai.
Oh my gosh.
I will
protect that man at all costs. Protect him.
He always likes to make jokes and says that I did it for us. I didn't do it for you. But I'm like, you do not understand how much of a sacrifice it is. Because you had your whole life, you had your whole family, you had things that you were doing, you had businesses that he had a company which he had a partner in.
Right.
You understand? But he did see the vision.
Right.
He did see the vision for the brand even more than me at the time. Bearing in mind, this was the same man that when I first got the place for Olars Grace in the beginning, he asked me to get a bigger place.
Was that in Lagos?
Yes, in Lagos. And I'm like, I don't understand. Please, me, I just have 1 million. What? With bigger place. And he's like, you that you still have 20 people working for you. You that you still employ this. So, like, my husband has always taught me how to see, like, the bigger picture. So, I did go up on that stage telling my story about how I came to Dubai almost a year ago. And, I have a very supportive partner who followed me here despite, like, having the things that he was doing back in Nigeria and believing in the brand so much. And everybody clapped and I sat down and there was this white girl beside me. So there was a representative from every country. And I was the representative from Nigeria at that was. So she's from Iceland.
Okay.
And at the time she's been in Dubai for 7 years. I didn't know this girl. And at the end of the meeting, she turned to me and she said, your story is very interesting and I will introduce you to the right people in this country.
Oh my gosh.
And this is someone that when they asked her to speak and tell her story, she didn't even get up. She said she had nothing to say. And that was
no way.
Exactly. That was what she told me. So I was the first person, like she was beside me. So I know she had not talked all through that meeting.
Right.
And that was what she told me.
When you say show up is also speaking. So, there's power when, like you said.
Exactly. Again, I needed to understand that you're not a content creator. You are a business owner. At every opportunity that you have to talk about your business, you show up, you dress well, and you talk about your business, you talk about your journey.
Right. Right.
And she told me that. And I'm like, oh, thank you. Again, because human beings are human beings, and
Yeah.
you cannot take what people have to say, like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, thank you. And she's like,
Hmm.
okay, so Dubai, they don't serve alcohol at these events and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, let's get a drink and
Right.
where it's not orange juice and let's talk. I'm like, thank you. And
Yep.
that's how we kept in touch. This event was July. And when
Right.
I tell you, as of November, Mags, who is one of my best friends
Yeah.
currently, had
Yeah.
put me on to like the who was who in retail and fashion in Dubai at that time. I'm talking this person has connection with Unas. I'm talking she
Right.
knows the people who are in charge of having Nicole's who could stock your brand there, Sephora,
Right.
in the UAE. She had Apparel Group. She had these people because she was into like marketing.
Hmm.
And she's like, you know what? Let's do a launch for Olars Grace in the Middle East. And I'm like, girl, bye. Who am I going to invite? Who's coming? And she's like, don't worry about it. We're going to get people to come. And not only did she, of course, we had to pay for the event because
Right.
nobody's going to pay for you. Dubai is a billboard. You have,
No.
again, don't go there if God did not tell you to go there because you need a lot of money.
Right.
You need a lot of money, and it's only God that will help you save that money because you will
Right.
have use for it. So
Right.
we had to pay. When I talk about inclusivity and positioning, right?
Right.
God
Right.
positioned us, but He already gave us the funds
But
for what He was positioning us for.
yeah.
So, yes, we had to spend a lot of money. But again, it's a very wealthy city.
Mm.
People do not give a rat's about
Mm.
you, who is a black girl that just coming. You don't have as much money as them. So, you can sit in places that they are sitting. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you need somebody who's going to say, okay, you're a minority, but I like you, whatever,
Right.
and then just put you into whatever
The
is happening in that
mm.
community.
Mm.
So, despite your money, you're going to need that connection.
I'm going
So, she
to
was
need that.
ours,
Mm.
and she was able to get the marketing director of Shangri-La, which is
Oh
one of
my
like the
God.
biggest hotels,
Right.
not in Dubai, but in the world. There's Shangri-La everywhere, for us
Yeah.
to host the event in Shangri-La.
So
So
that
that
already
meant that,
got a particular,
yeah,
skill.
yeah. So that meant that where I was supposed to be paying like 100,000 dirhams,
Right.
I don't even want you to do the math in naira because your calculator will scatter. Where I was meant to be paying 100,000 dirhams, I was paying 15,000 dirhams or 10,000 dirhams because of that connection. You see the gap?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
see why you need? And
Yeah.
where I was like, I don't know anybody who's gonna come.
Right.
There were people who were ready to invite government officials to that event.
Mm.
People who were ready to invite not just influencers, but people who had, you know, who were like minds in the
Right.
UAE as well to launch us into the UAE,
Right.
into the Middle East.
Right.
So we had all, and before then, she made sure that she set me up with so much press that I was meeting these people and that people. And I'm like, hi. And it's like, I've heard so much about you. I've seen your designs. Listen, I don't know these people. I'm coming from Nigeria. But I was doing so much meetings. I was showing up with these people and like, oh, I like it. And energy
Mm.
is very
Mm.
important. Hey,
Mm.
even if you are sick, you see the energy that I'm bringing here. I know that after I live this life, I'm going to drink another water again, and I'm going to go and rest on my husband's chest. Text me, please. Energy is very important. So you have to
Yeah.
bring
So
so much energy and positivity to these meetings so that you
right.
get those people to come to your event and you get
Right.
them to buy. These are people who they don't shop when other people are in the store. They will inform you that they are coming, and you have to have a closed door shopping for them. The only place that me I've heard it is, the very big brands, Louis Vuitton, Hermes and the rest of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
these are people who have so much money that they tell you that they inform you that they are coming, or they tell you to bring your entire collection to their
To their
homes.
homes.
Exactly.
Shop from home.
So these were the type of people that she had introduced me to. And
Oh
that
my God.
was how we were able to, and of course, like with God, I feel like everything is God because what are the odds that I got invited to that event? What are the odds that she spoke to me? What are the
And
odds that
she was sitting right next to you,
she was
right?
sitting right next to me? What are the odds that, just so many odds? And I'm just like, you have to go where God sends you. You cannot go to
Absolutely.
where God did not send you and be showing up. It will not work.
You've been practicing the act of showing up even before you went to the UAE. You had several PR meetings with different people. You could do that because, I mean, you've been practicing it, before then, even if it was on a lower scale.
Mm-hmm.
As part of preparation for our individual
Yeah,
brands,
and
I
I
just wanted
think with inclusivity again is you have to
to.
understand that preparation meets opportunity. If you're not prepared, when the opportunity is presented in front of you, you're not going to know what to do. You can only wing it if you're prepared. For example, when you sent me the questions of this meeting, we're not even answering the questions exactly the way we're not able to, like, we're winging it, but we're prepared. You see what I mean? Okay, for example, the Times Square thing that happened when Ola's Grace was put on Times Square. I was
Yeah.
literally, sitting and I'd helped somebody do something. Like I did a favor for her, and she's like, and this woman is. I don't want to tell you her name because if you Google her, it
You'll
will
find
come up.
her.
Same in the UAE, and she's like, "Hola, I'm in Cairns right now, and I'm just talking with some people." And she told me that she has a space for the
But
billboard. What can you do a video for me? I'm like, girl, listen, ma'am. I'm I'm like, what you mean? I should make a video. She said, yeah, can you send me the video now so that we'll put your brand on Times Square? I'm like, huh?
which
Which
Times Square? Hello.
Times Square? She said Times Square, New York. Anyways, just send it to me.
Yeah.
If you can send it in 30 minutes, I will. Then I'll tell you what showing up and preparation does.
Right.
We already had
Video.
beautiful collections
Mhm.
that we spent so much time, so much money, so much
Mhm.
preparations doing that
Mhm.
could fit in a billboard. So all we had to do was size it for that
Right.
billboard. Again, preparation.
Right.
Because
100%.
if they tell you, bring your designs, let's put on Times Square, and
And
you are
you
not
don't
prepared
have
enough for
uh,
something that will catch people's attention.
right.
Because Times Square has a lot of billboards.
Right.
So if you're not put Is that why you saying Times Square so casually? Someone just said that. And I'm saying it casually because I did repay the favor. So we did launch an influencer collaboration last year, November, and we put the influencer on Times Square.
Okay.
So we paid that forward. So right now, when things happen for me already, I'm like, before I'm like, whoo, but now it's like, okay, Times Square, okay, we've been there, we've done that. What's the next thing? You know what I
Oh,
mean? So it's quite interesting, but you have to be prepared. That's another again. That's why you have to really work on your back end. If your back end is crap,
right.
it's going to somehow reflect on the front, and
It
people are
will.
not going to be able to see that connection to the point where. Listen, again, I'll tell you, people do beautiful outfits. There's fast fashion now that people are like, okay, you know what? I can just get a dress. Let me just wear that and
Yeah.
go. So when you want to put your name on the world map, you have to do 10 times the work to be able to, check all the boxes of your business so that when the opportunity comes, they don't look at your business as just, okay, let's get a dress. They look at your business as a story. They
Mm.
look at your business as a beacon of hope for a lot of people.
Mm.
They look at your business as a brand that they've seen like the owner put in
Mm.
so much work.
Much work.
Absolutely.
So would you say the fashion industry itself is male dominated, or female dominated? Still looking at the angle of inclusivity in regards to the theme for IWD, and
Again,
how are you able
again,
to,
I feel like I operate with on a very spiritual level when it comes to as grace and when it comes to everything that I do in my brand.
Right.
and I operate on a level that I don't see skin color, I don't
Mm-hmm.
see male or female. I just
Mm-hmm.
see the work that I do and that I put out.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's male dominated, I'll
Yeah.
probably be the only female who they are considering because of the amount of
Ooh.
work that I have put in and that I'm willing to put in. And if it
That's,
is female dominated, I will be
mm-hmm.
amongst the women who are building that table for other women and men inclusive. So that's how I say it. I don't I don't let anything stop
Yeah.
me or hinder me. I see
Right.
people as people. What are we
Right.
doing? You're a man, you're a woman. How are we coming together
Right.
to fix this problem? How are we moving forward? So you have
Right.
people like Olivier, who is the owner of Balmain, and you have
Mm-hmm.
people like Tom Ford, and you have people on this
Right.
level. You have people, the owner of Zara, what's his name? Basically the owner. So you can actually say, according to the team this year of
Right.
IWB, it is
Yeah.
male dominated.
Mm-hmm.
But again, on my part,
Right.
I don't see it. I see it as people. I see them as people who've worked very hard to put out the work.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand that a lot of people are seeing now,
Mm-hmm.
what regardless of whatever the agenda is. But
Right.
again, if you want to talk about inclusivity, let's talk
Yeah.
about Vera Wang, who is
Okay.
an OG. She is a woman. Talk about the creative director of Alexander McQueen. Let's go back to Nigeria. Let's talk about Andre Yama. Let's talk
Right.
about Folami. These are people who are making like big waves to put
Yeah.
out the work that they've done out there. So I need you to see people as people, not the gender, and as the work that they have done.
So what I'm hearing is that I don't see color, I don't see gender, I don't see any limitation.
I
I
don't.
just do my
I
work, trust
don't.
God, believe God, um, solidify my back end, and show up.
Absolutely.
You need to write a book. You know, you need, and it's going to be a bestseller,
Amen.
right? Right. Right.
Amen.
There's a statement that is dear to my heart as a gender advocate, and it says, "And when women themselves are inspired to be included, there's a sense of belonging, relevance, and empowerment." So when women are inspired, to be included, there's a sense of belonging, relevance, and empowerment. What would you say, about that statement?
It's an absolutely true statement. Nobody wants to not be included. Nobody, and we're all human beings at the end of the day. Like there can be something happening in your industry, and maybe you don't get an invite, and you feel some type of way. Like, have I not done enough? Have I not worked enough? And then you just look at it like, okay, you know what? Maybe I actually have not worked enough. Maybe I will keep working to the point where they feel the need to, like, include me
Uh,
or invite me. So absolutely, it's a very true statement. Everybody wants to be recognized for the work that they have done.
mhm.
And yes, when women show up and they are included, a lot of things can be achieved because they begin to find more confidence in themselves in a world that they probably have to work 10 times as hard.
If anyone here, for any reason, at any point in their life, feel a bit left out, not included, what would be your advice? Would you say fight to be included, or would you say the world should be fair?
The world is
Um,
never a fair place. And honestly, forgive my language, but nobody gives a shit about you. The world isn't a fair place. The world will never be a fair
right.
place. You will never be in rooms that you think that you have deserved
Mhm.
you deserve to be in, no
Mhm.
matter how much work you have uh put in, which is
Right.
why you should drown the noise and create your own table. Create the
Mhm.
table where you can invite other people and be the change.
Drown the
It's
noise.
never going to be a fair place. Listen, I wish the world was a fair place.
Mhm.
I see like a lot of people who that we put a lot of work into our business more than them, and they are flying high. They have like
Yeah.
some of the biggest celebrities wearing their stuff.
Right.
But listen, it's their time.
Right.
What we are going to do is we're going to keep showing up. We're going to
Right.
keep working on, and we're going to create our own table
Right.
to the point where we then get to invite the people who are coming behind us.
Right.
Because we were not invited to that table. We're going to create the damn table ourselves. That's just the honest truth.
Create the damn table, girls. Oh, thank you so much. Every young girl that is ambitious needs to listen to everything you have said and spilled out.
Show up is literally what it is. Wear your clothes and show up. That's how you show up. Put on your makeup, wear your outfit, and just show up. That's how you show up. That's the thing. Like, I feel like people think too much about these things. It's like, that's why I corrected the statement and I said, you're not thinking about Instagram. Because if you are, you'll be very frustrated with the algorithm. You'll be very frustrated about how, like, things that are not within your control. So focus on things that you can control, which is putting on beautiful makeup, putting on, like, an amazing hair, an outfit, and just, you can sit down and say, what I want to do today is record myself, a 10 seconds video of myself just talking about my business or highlighting some things that I've done in business.
Right.
What that does is it contributes to you showing up, and it also contributes to you helping other business owners. There's something I always tell some of my friends that are like huge supporters of me and like look up to me. I'll tell them, I'll say, from any advice I give you, I'm also taking this back to myself. You're also like building up yourself. You're also like building up yourself. That's it.
Absolutely.
Someone said, were you sewing your pieces yourself when you started, or you hired tailors? For someone who doesn't know how to sew, how do I start ready to wear? I don't sew. I am a designer. I design the outfits. I know that I want this to be like this. Sorry, hi, we'll take your question soon. Thank you for joining us. I know that I want this to be like this, and I just find people who can put that together, from the sketch artist to the production. That's what I do.
Right. Hi, my name is Chazon, by the way. We're happy to have you.
Yeah, hi. Thank you.
Yeah, so my question is, have you ever at any point felt or had that fear that comes with another step forward?
Oh, girl, I'm scared all the time. I'm scared.
Great, because Boss Chi knows I'm very big on confidence, self-awareness, and also I always like to hear how people deal with those moments where you start to sometimes question yourself. Can I do this? Can I keep up with this? If it's a success, can I?
Are you Nigerian?
Yes,
can I ask that? Okay, so have you heard this phrase, oh boy?
All the time.
Good. So you always have to have that person beside you and say, oh, more. That's you still being like afraid. You know what I mean? Confidence is really, really important in businesses. You can't do it on your own. When the bad things are happening, when you have positioned everything, you've done everything right, and it doesn't go the way you want it to do, that's an oh boy moment, like, oh, this thing where I don't work for. You know what I mean? That's you being scared to go the next step because you're like, I did this thing before and it like what and then there's the success part when it's like, now maybe this, you know what I mean? And you're like, oh boy, I want to also. And then you tell that to your confidant in the corner, and then you go like, hi, thank you so much for coming. And everybody thinks like you have the highest confidence in the room, and you are freaking out. So like the next person say, listen, what if this happens? What if, like, so as a business owner, you're scared all the time, honestly. When you launch a collection, you're scared. When you're scared of how it's going to do. When you're shipping out those products for even the people who buy, you want to make sure that every seam is cut the same. You don't want one pant's leg to be longer than the other. So you're like, God, please, this collection that I've done, let people like this.
I can imagine when you're not the one making them, you're hoping that another person.
Exactly. So it's like, and that's a whole nother conversation, because that is you have tailors and minimal production, and you have the factory level. You know what I mean? And Olars Grace has both right now. We are operating on the factory level where it's like bulk production, and we have like our own in-house production. You can imagine how expensive it is to run both of them. And so, but you have to you have to check everything. You're so afraid that if you miss one thing, it's like you know what I mean. So you're scared all the time. But then you wake up and you're like, okay, what is it? What is it today? What are we dealing with? Are we dealing with success? Are we getting there? We're like, yeah, I'm so happy to be in this position. I know that I've worked hard for it. I know that I still have the fear of, okay, what's going to go on next.
Next.
That's why I have God, you know, to like guide me to say, listen, you've come this far. You know what I mean? Yeah. So,
all right, thank you. That's what I wanted to
yeah, you're welcome.
What's your advice about funding a new business? Do you advise getting funding from investors, especially for a new business?
No, I do not. I needed to understand that investors are not bad, but you need to know your books. It's a new business. You don't know your books. You don't know what you make on your worst year. You don't know what you make on your best year. You don't know if you're going to be able to pay those investors back. You don't understand what equity is. Even if you read up on it, you've not practicalized it. You don't understand what debt loans are. You don't understand a lot of things. So I would say that just start with what you have, like the rest of us did, and you take it from there. When it's see again, God is very important. When it's time to have investors, you will know. Have investors in the first day of your business, you know. If you're to have it in the 10th year of your business, you will know. I'm a very big believer of process, and I believe in doing the work so that I can beat my chest anyway and say, is it not your $50,000 that you borrowed me? Don't worry, I'll give you within
I'll give you back.
yeah, within this time. Because I know that I can make it. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like your investors will even respect you more because there's a back record. Yeah. It's just like borrowing 10,000 from somebody who knows that you have a job and that when you collect salary, you pay them back. The conversation they will be having with you will not be when I give my money, it will not be that. It will be, hi, Ola, hope you're up today. Can you please give me the conversation will be different.
Yeah. Okay, people. I think we'll draw the curtains here. Thanks so much.
Thank you guys so much for joining in. Thank you for inviting me. It's always an amazing experience talking to you. It's always an amazing experience, pouring into people. And yeah, absolutely.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
So much. Okay, bye. Bye, guys.